Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Open Book. I am Billy Price. I am one of the two co-founders of Billy Footwear, and as I say on many open books, I absolutely love Open Book. And the reason I love Open Book is it gives us the opportunity to share a little bit about the brand. As a brand, we are an open book, and we've been on quite the journey ever since day one. And along the way, we've been able to develop, have a lot of power through word of mouth to get the brand out there, but also we've had the opportunity to just build amazing relationships and amazing collaborations. And what makes me so excited about this particular open book is our opportunity to talk with Karen. So Karen joins us today. She's a mom, she's an advocate, she's an author, she's in preparation for this call, we were talking about cooking. Makes my mouth water just thinking about that. And just an amazing person. So Karen, welcome to Open Book.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so extremely excited. Open Book is one of my favorites to watch. So to be able to be on it I'm just ecstatic.
Oh wow, well, that's amazing. But Karen, I mean, you yourself, you have an amazing story. And before we start going into more of the specifics about, about the book and talking about, like you mentioned, the reality television show and, just being an advocate out there, I think a great place to start would be, who is Karen? So Karen, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I mean, after that great introduction you gave me, I'm not really sure what to say, but it's more that I am definitely a mom, but I'm also a stepmom and a foster mom. So I have about 11 kids I helped raise. And I also am an inspirational guest speaker. I um, I spread awareness about my rare genetic disorder, which is called Beals syndrome. I was told it's basically the brother or sister to Morphans. If anyone's familiar with Morphan syndrome, it's like that, but they say the difference is the crumpled at the top of my ear. So, but I still have mobility issues. I have severe scoliosis and club feet. So that being said, I write children's books based on a character that's based on my daughter, who also has my rare genetic disorder, and she wears AFOs. And my book series, Ariana's Magic Boots, is based on her wearing her AFOs that she calls her magic boots.
So I remember, well, first off, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I remember in preparation for this call, I was looking at some of the opportunities you've already had to be out there, public facing about the book. And it sounded like the book, putting that together, it took quite a bit of time until between having the idea and actually getting it to print. Can you talk about that journey?
Yes, it was definitely a long journey because it more started off with just word of mouth kind of stories. Ariana was wearing, so the book series is called Ariana's Magic Boots, which is based on my daughter, Ariana. She is 22 now, but at the time she was a toddler. And I would go with her to physical therapy so she can get stronger wearing her AFOs. And she would complain and she didn't like it. She didn't want to be there. She didn't understand it because she was 5. I mean, what 5 year old really wants to do things they don't really want to do but play? So it was more of a deja vu for me because I remember I used to do the same thing with my mom, and but I wasn't so lucky to have such stylish AFOs as she has. I was wearing the Forrest Gump ones that used to clunk everywhere. So I'm like, this is horrible, you know. But now she has some amazing ones, and I'm like, Ariana, this doesn't have to be anything bad. This can be something fun and amazing. And they don't have to just be boots. They can be your magic boots. So I would help her make up stories basically to tell her to make it fun using her imagination. And we would go on different adventures. And as time went by during physical therapy, a lot of the children around that were wearing AFOs also wanted to join in. So I just made it like a group game of physical therapy, and a lot of the children had fun. So my character says a certain saying, which is when they see something they like and they want to use their imagination, as for example, like a picture on the wall, the would be pictures of animals, and I would say, okay guys, it's time to use your magic words. So they would all stomp 3 times, spin around, and say, away we go. And then our adventure would begin at physical therapy, and we would go on different adventures. So their AFOs would turn into their magic boots, and I would say, well, your magic boots are safari boots now, so we need to feed these animals. And we would start feeding animals and peanuts and bananas and things like that. So my first books is that particular story. And then that one was the main one I was trying a long time to get out. It took a long time to find someone who fit me, that I liked with the illustrations. But prior to that, I did try to find my own, like other publishing companies, agents, and things. But at that time, 10, 15 years ago, unfortunately, they didn't, would tell me politely, they didn't know how to market me as a
Mm,
woman who has a disability. Also, to them, I feel like I'm a trifecta because I'm a woman, I'm disabled, and it's like they don't know how to market that, they said. And also a woman of color because I'm biracial. So they just told me, in a polite way, we don't know how to
yeah.
market you. So I got, after being denied so many times, I just kind of like was a little disappointed, but I just would take a step back and say, because my nonna will tell him, they're just not ready for you yet. And because I'm larger than life, he would always say, and I'm like, you're right, nonna. So I would take a minute, and I just took a breath and just took time. And then 10 years later, I looked into self-publishing because a friend of mine published his children's book. And then I realized that that fit me more. And then I just looked for an illustrator and then someone to help me format it. And then I end up publishing them myself. So I have two. The second one is about mermaids, where my main character, Ariana, goes to the beach with her parents, and she's building a sandcastle, and she's like, I want to go meet the mermaids. So
Oh,
again,
yeah.
she uses her magic words, and she stomps 3 times and spins around and says, away we go. And then her AFOs turn into a mermaid tail. So then she's a mermaid, and she gets to meet three little girl mermaids and becomes friends with them. And in the book, the 3 mermaids are actually my nieces because they love mermaids and they wanted to be in it too. So I who can say no to those faces. And I'm like, okay. And so it turned into that. So it was Ariana in the book, and one of my children, my oldest girl, Lillian, and then my 3 nieces, Destiny, Zaya, and Camilla. So
Mhm.
it's been a great journey. And now it's been into coloring books, is what I'm doing for each child to change it to fit them.
Wow. Well, so I mean, so Karen, thank you for all that. I mean, that's so cool. So I have a couple of questions. One is the stories that I mean, you're identifying 2 stories right now. I'm I'm guessing these were or like you tell me, were they stories that you were already telling to Ariana like growing up, and then they finally made it to paper, or were these original stories that were put down on paper for the book?
No, that's correct, Billy. They actually was Ariana's stories. So they were stories that I was telling her at physical therapy and the other
Yep.
children. So
Yep.
there's a few more I was telling them. So those will be coming out soon. Ariana is the one that said to me, Mom, those stories really helped me when I needed them. I think you should make them into a hard copy. And that's when I started really looking into how do I do that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so amazing. Uh, so my next question is, where can people find your books?
They are all available on Amazon.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then should we just have people go direct to Amazon and then write in the names, or is there like lead them to your Instagram or something like that and then find it that way? What would be the best way to do it?
Whatever way is easier for them. If they go on Amazon and type it in my name or the book's name, it will come up. And also on my Instagram, I have a link that if you click, it brings you right to Amazon as well.
Okay, perfect. Well, let me put the link up on or your Instagram. So those listening in, Karen's Instagram at Karen Gasperini-Quiles. Did I do it?
Quiles. I know
Oh, so
it's
close.
It's a lot of people say that because it's with the Q, so the Q is pronounced with a K. So yes,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, so for those seeing it on screen, I mean you can see it, but for those that are listening in, it's I'm gonna spell it out for you. So it's at Karen, so KarenGasperiniQuiles, and I'll also have this in the show notes too. Um, wow. So Karen, I have two kids. I have a 5-year-old and I have a 2-year-old, and I'm very excited to not only get your books, but also the coloring book, because I think you have them in front of you, don't you? I mean, can
Yes, I
you
do.
show those? I mean, but I'm really excited for them to dig in and start coloring those things because I know they're gonna have a ton of fun.
This is the first one, Ariana's Magic Boots. As I mentioned, the jungle photo that was in physical therapy. This one, she goes on an adventure to the jungle and she meets jungle animals and things like that, as you can see here.
Mm,
And then the second one is the mermaid one, and that's the one where I mentioned my nieces felt like they needed to be in the book. So that's that one. But if you turn it over, you can see like the AFOs and things like that. But it's this one. This book is also kind of a learning book because I have it where they're doing a scavenger hunt where the children are trying to find pieces to make a bracelet. So it's like look for this many seashells or this many pearls in the book, and the kids get to count them out as well.
mhm.
And then this is the coloring book, which is the first book, but it's just, so the children can color why Ariana's at physical therapy or why she's in the jungle meeting animals and things like that. So it's just like a lot of um different aspects and fun things if you can see it here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and then I have so I've been working on two for the books, the mermaid book. Ariana herself, is 22 now, she has been making bracelets.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so we're going to be putting that on our website that we're getting together. She makes them by hand, and they are handmade here in Little Rhode Island, where we live. So they will go with the bracelet. The bracelet will go with the book because in the book I mentioned they're looking to put together a bracelet for scavenger hunting. That's the list, and this is the bracelet that they put together.
Oh, wow. I'm what a beautiful pairing. So, I mean, especially, I mean, I know my kids are gonna love that, and I want to get them to get the books for them anyways. But now with holiday coming up, I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, the timing is brilliant.
Exactly. We're working on it. I have stickers and T-shirts. I've been doing so much, so it's just trying to like uh just show all the different aspects of things. And I did want to mention that my books are not only for children with disabilities. My goal has always been to teach other children that you don't have to be afraid to approach a child with a disability. They want to play just like you do, and you don't have to be afraid and have fun. But my books are also to show them that different aspects of someone with a disability. I do go to a lot of elementary schools and hospitals and things, and I bring a pair of Ariana's old AFOs with me, so a lot of the children can at the school can feel what an AFO is and see it in person to understand why the character wears them and things like that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because that's a very very important point, and that's why I mean my kids are their touch point through disability is, I mean, myself being a wheelchair user, so there's some exposure there. But exactly what you're talking about, like all kids want to play, so there's always a way to play together. And what you just mentioned right there just really creates this inclusive community where the kids are brought up in a better and more open space, which is going to make the world better. So that's really really cool. And along those same lines, it sounds like that the reality television show that you were mentioning, being out there as an advocate, it seems like, am I incorrect in saying that the reality television show is also another means to be able to start like help break down some of those barriers?
Yes, of course, definitely. The reality TV show I'm going to be on is called Divas in the City, and it's basically about women who have disabilities, 5 women that have disabilities, and women of color, most of them. And it's more just to show different aspects of what we all go through on our own, our own path, and how we adapt this world to fit us. Because I've never changed myself for anyone. I did when I was younger until I found Mariah Carey, and she helped me see who I needed to be and not change who I used to be. Like try to fit in one. I want to say one group. Um, so it was more because as I am biracial, I was trying to fit in an Italian group or the people of colors group, and then I was confused, and then trying to find people who are disabled I can fit with. So
Mm,
then coming across Mariah made it me, understand my true self and say, aha, like she does what fits her. And this is who she is. She doesn't try to put herself in any type of box because she also is multiracial. So that is what the TV show is for me. The Divas in the City, for my personal character, is showing how I make what I do. As you mentioned, I'm like a jack of all trades, so I try to let people see that in as my character in Diva in the City, that I can do different things, and I also model as well. So I do modeling, runway, and things like that. And it's usually someone always trying to change something to make it fit what they want me to do, and I'm like, that this is how Karen does it. If you don't like what Karen does it, then maybe Karen shouldn't be here. So I that's what the show's more about, and just to see how we're fierce and business women and different. There's a woman that she uh, is a dancer, and there's one in a wheelchair and things like. So it's all different journeys, the way they run, do their life and do how they have things every day, and any trial or tribulations they go through, and as well as mine.
mm. Wow. Well, I look forward to seeing that. Do you have a gauge on when that will be airing and where we can find it?
I believe it's going to be in February of next year. That's what
Okay.
they've been talking about, the release of it.
Wow. Well, the way the year's been burning by, February will be here before we know it.
I know. I was like, February's kind of far, but then I'm like, wait, it's already almost Thanksgiving. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Well,
definitely.
Karen, this has been really good. I want to be respectful of your time. And I know because you got a lot of things going, but I did have one more question for you, and it was just kind of a curiosity. How did our world, how did the Billy footwear world and the Karen world, how did we come together? How did you find out about us?
Well, that is easy because of my daughter's AFOs and a lot of
Mm,
children in the hospital that I come across. Your shoes that zip in the front, like zip around and make it easier for anyone's foot to get in, which is like an AFO to get in. It would gravitate towards me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, because I wish I had more of this all the time for Ariana and other students that I talk to and run into. So I'm constantly saying, "Oh my God, you have to try this brand. You have to try this brand." So to be able to have open book with you, I'm like, I was so excited. I'm like, I'm always talking about Billy's product, but I never get to be Billy. So I'm like,
mm,
what? I get to be an open book. But yeah, it's been like I'm talking about your product like I created the product. So that's how it came into where a lot of your product has helped a lot of children with AFOs be able to feel stylish and fabulous, and not feel like, oh, like as I mentioned, I wore the hideous ones from Forrest Gump, and I didn't have fancy amazing shoes like yours and sneakers like yours. I had ugly plain white ones that I used to doodle on just so they looked nice.
mhm.
So I want to applaud you for those, because it's just the styles are fabulous and beautiful, and it makes you feel like you're not even wearing anything different from anybody.
Wow. Well, Karen, that really means a lot. I mean, thank you. I mean, there's so many things that come rushing back to me just with you talking about that. And when Darren and I first came together to launch this thing, we remembered what it was like being on the playground. And it can be, the playground can be a rather cruel place, because if someone's wearing something different, the other kids will remind them they're wearing something different. And the shoes worked. I mean, the shoe didn't exist for, I mean, I became someone that uses a wheelchair when I was 18 years old. So I was already outside of grade school. But when we started bringing this shoe to market, it was very important to us that it wasn't going to have, that it doesn't look fashionable, like stylish. It could sit on the shelves of wherever, and anyone, regardless of ability or disability, could wear the shoe and be successful. So just more of like that universal design that could just sit out there and just be a community, like kind of staple piece that everyone can gravitate towards. And it's been remarkable, because word of mouth has carried that forward and driven us as a brand to do more. And there are a lot of folks out there, including myself, that can speak about the brand because we've had life transformational experiences just because of the shoe, which makes it more than just a shoe. It ends up being like this unlock for bigger things. So when you talk about how it works for Ariana, and I guess you as a just the family unit, I mean, that really, really, truly means a lot, because there's emotion there, and it was the same emotion that I experienced too.
And that's why I commend you so much, because you stopped my daughter from feeling what I felt when I had to wear those hideous ones. And I wanted to make sure none of the children that I come in contact with have to feel like that on the playground or recess, where I have to wear these, not stylish kind of sneakers, just whatever fits, because I have to wear AFOs. And you gave them that purpose of feeling stylish and fabulous all over again. And that is something I'm truly grateful for.
Mm. Well, it's our absolute sincere pleasure. It really is. It really is. And thank you for carrying it forward. Thank you for sharing. I mean, like, word of mouth. Oh my gosh. I mean, we're talking about this with the book, and talking about, I mean, even like the reality television show that'll generate conversations, and important conversations, going out and meeting with schools, and talking about just reminding kids that all kids like to play. So let's try to be more inclusive. I mean, that type of speaking with our mouth, speaking with emotion, pulling at those heartstrings, we're all going to be better for it. So I think it truly is a team effort, and through community, if we're all working together, I really think that we can accomplish anything.
I truly believe so too, because with your product, I feel like we can break a lot of different grounds, because they kids will feel they belong, and they feel accepted, and they feel they can have fashion, because they didn't. As I mentioned, I had those hideous ones, but I also had brothers, so I didn't have people make fun of me. So
There
I
you
have
go.
8 brothers, and they all made sure. But not everyone has that. So they have you, and they have your products, and you are the big brother that they need with your products. So
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, Karen, this has been awesome. I mean, everyone else, I mean, let me put up Karen's Instagram again. So again, those listening in at KarenGasperini-Quiles. And boy, make sure to go check her out, follow her, keep in tune of, what's coming up with that show, what Karen's up to, but also check out the books. I mean, Karen, I'm going to be like, with this open book episode, I'm going to be the first in line to jump on there and get some books, because I'm really excited to dig into those.
Thanks. You have to let me know how they are for you.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do. So again, Karen, thank you for your time. Everyone else out there, this was another episode of Open Book. I hope you enjoyed it. We will have another one again real soon. So until then, take care.
Bye.